Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, got a little quick project we're going to work on today. I've got a Baldor grinder here that I picked up. I bought this from a friend of mine, Neil Tyson, up in North Alabama, actually several years ago, and just never have got it working out here in the shop. Never have got it really set up. And I picked up some wire wheels. I've got both a coarse and a fine wire wheel. These are made by Osborne, and we got these for this. I think these are these 10-inch wheels, I believe. And I want to get them set up on here so that I can use this when doing restoration work for cleaning up parts and so forth. Now, I've got some flanges here that are made for working with a stone, like a regular grinding wheel. This first flange goes up on here. There's actually a little broached keyway in the flange that fits up onto a pin that drives, in this case, the wire wheel off the flange. So you put that in there, and then you put the wire wheel on. But the problem I've got is that because of the way the wires kind of flare out on the side, it's too close. It's hitting up on this side over here. And what I need is a flange that's a little bit wider. Now, my first thought was, well, we'll just put a washer or something behind it, move it over a little bit. But the problem is that, again, we've got this pin in here that drives the flange, and it really needs to be one piece. So what I'm going to do today is we're actually going to make some new flanges for this, one for each side, that's going to offset it a little bit. It needs to be offset about 3/8 of an inch thicker than what it is. So I've actually got a piece of aluminum here, and we're going to put this over in the lathe, and we're going to turn some new flanges. We'll have to drill holes and actually broach a keyway in those. So let's go get this set up on the lathe and get started doing some turning. We're set up over here on the Monarch lathe and ready to go. I want to start by just facing the front of this and trying to get a nice edge on that front side. It was cut with a bandsaw, and it was not a very square cut. I think we're going to have to go a little bit more. Yeah. That looks like it's cleaning up pretty good. All right, next thing I want to do is just clean this outside diameter up just enough to get it to not have any run at it and clean it up. I need to turn my feed on, or my cross feed. I had it in set up for cutting threads. Let's see, this ought to be good right here. So let's just come across there, and may have to take a little bit more. It's not quite cleaning up. Maybe I'm just gonna go ahead and take it. Probably enough right there. And that gives me a nice piece of material to work with. Put a little marker on here to get a depth. I want to go 375 on a shoulder. I can see that. We're going to turn that diameter down to about to there. 1 7/8 is what I want that inside, that diameter to be turned down to. We'll just keep making some passes on this until we get that down to size. right, we got about, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Got about 83 thou I need to take off of there. 2, 4, 60, 80. About right there. That diameter there is nothing critical. Clean this back face up. All right, I've got my compound set to a 15-degree angle there, and I'm just trying to put a little angle on there, kind of like what we have there, which is matching that 15-degree angle. So we will come in here and just start cutting that back until we get all the way down to the flange I just turned. All the way back out in that corner. We'll just come out. Get some swarf out of the way here. Go ahead and drill a hole in here. Start by just spotting the center. Start with a 3/8 inch pilot hole. We'll go to a 7/8 inch final hole size. It's maybe too fast. just kind of break the edges of here in a couple places. I've got a 45-degree tool in there. Put some chamfers on here. I'm going to do that one a little bit more. I've got a parting tool in here now. I want this total to be about 7/8 inches thick, and I've got it set here now. We're just going to go in. I don't think this parting tool is going to be deep enough to go all the way to the center, but we're going to get it most of the way, and I'll probably use my little portable bandsaw to cut it off the rest of the way. Then we'll flip it around and face the other side. But this will get hopefully most of that material out of there. So we'll just come on in here with the parting tool. Some problem was my tool wasn't set square, and what I'm doing now is I'm just bumping this up against the quill, and if you notice it moved just a little bit. I'm just barely bumping it up against there. That should set my tool post now to be square with the spindle of the lathe. So hopefully we can get back down inside that groove we started cutting and finish it out. So let me get the tailstock out of the way, put our parting tool back on, and come over here. Looks like we're back in the groove there. Yeah, it feels much better. Tell you what I think I'm going to do is, yeah, we're hitting on the bottom. I see what's happening. And I'm just going to come in here with my little portable bandsaw now. And we'll zip that the rest of the way off. There we go. And I've flipped my part around backwards now. I want to get the back side of this faced off where we had that rough cut. All right, and if you look at the original, you see the inside is kind of reliefed out. We're going to do the same thing there, where it's just kind of gripping on that outside area of the flange. I don't think it's really critical how big that is. That looks about good right there. We're going to make it a little bit deeper though. Putting a little bit too much pressure on it, and it moved in my jaws there. We'll recenter that up and be a little bit more ginger coming out of here. Just don't have a big area back there that we're gripping on. That should be good there. I'm just going to use this tool to kind of clean that little flange up there. I'll do the other one, and we'll go broach that key in it. But that should be one right there. I do need to break the corners on those inside. I'll use a countersink for that. Over at the arbor press, and we are ready to broach a key in here. So I've got a broach bushing. We're using a 1/8 inch broach for this, and let's Put a little lube on that. And we'll push that on through. All right, that's one pass. This broach takes 2 passes. So we'll get a shim behind it and do a second pass. So let's put our shim in here. And go back down the same hole again. There's our key. So we'll go ahead and do the second one. All right, let's see how we did. We have our shaft here. Again, there's that little key in there. We'll line those up. That goes right on. Take my wire wheel now. These come with a large hole, and you basically just put bushings in there for what size arbor you have. In this case, we have a 7/8 inch arbor. And I'm just going to use the regular flange on the outside. On the outside, since there's no key on the outside, I'm just going to put a washer in there. Make sure I got plenty of space. And we'll tighten that up on the arbor. And that should spin without any problem at all. I get that good and tight in a little bit. I got a fine wheel I'm going to put on the other side, and we should have this grinder ready to go, and there's an end cap that'll go on the end here when it's all said and done. And just like that, I've got me a grinder set up with wire wheels. I need to rig up a little bit different kind of table here. These aren't really designed right, but those are some homemade things. I'll work up something on that. But bottom line is here we got one. This is my course wheel. This is my fine wheel. There we go. Well, there you go. Another project knocked out. And again, the advantage of having your own little machine shop at your house is that you can come up and fix little problems like this. The standard bushings wouldn't work, or flanges. So, hey, we'll just make some that will. And good example here. I'm really glad to have this set up. I've had a wire wheel, and a little Scotch-Brite wheel, and a El Cheapo little small Taiwanese grinder for years. When it runs for very long, it gets really, really hot. I use wire wheels a lot when I'm cleaning up rusty metal and stuff for restorations. So this is going to be a much better setup here. And I also really like the fact now that I've got both a coarse and a fine wheel, and these wheels from Osborne look like they're really well built and going to hold up very well over time. Time will tell, but they appear to be actually a lot higher quality than the wheels I have been using in the past. And with that, that's going to be a wrap on this video, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Comments are appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next video.